Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I'm with Alun, Cochrane, and new kid on the block. I'm with Kerry, Godliman this morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show, Kerry, for the first time.
Yeah.
Exciting. And we'd already had a debate about how I introduced Kerry, because I was going to say, well, I started with actress, and you're not keen.
I prefer actor.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a massive deal.
No.
I'm not going to kick off.
No, it's early days.
But
I want to get it right. So, actor and comedian?
Comedian.
A comedian. Okay.
I don't think we need to be gender specific at this stage.
Well, if I started working in the needlework business, would you call me a seamster?
I would.
You would?
Or a seam person.
Oh, seam person.
I'd keep it gender neutral.
Okay, well, I'll try and stick to gender neutral all morning. I can't even say gender neutral. That's how deeply dyed in the wool on PC I am. I can't even refer to the terminology without getting... Anyway, if you want... Oh, sorry,
I think male seamstresses are very unionised, you know, the seamsters.
The Seamsters Union. We're off!
It's a pun.
We're off. We've started. If you want to text us about anything whatsoever, I'm including the Franco-Prussian War. That's 8, 12, 15.
You know what you've done there, don't you?
Yeah, I know, yeah. There'll be experts now. I once saw a man give a lecture on the Spanish Civil War, and he knew so much about it, he couldn't answer any questions.
Oh, right.
Because when people asked him a question, he couldn't leave it. He'd say,
keep it brief.
Yes, they were. That was very much a communist stronghold. Though at the same time, and of course, there is one report that says, and there's a very interesting book, and he just couldn't do it.
All the facts were battling to get out at the same time.
Oh, I mean, it was a nightmare.
Well, anyway. I can answer questions because I barely know one fact about each topic.
Well, you're a product of the Wikipedia age.
Am I?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I am, but I'll run with it.
So listen, I've been away.
Have you? Where have you been?
Yeah, I went to Barcelona, or as Freddie Mercury would have it, Barcelona. Ooh.
Or Manuel, how would Manuel have it?
Barcelona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went to what they call, is it El Clásico?
Yes.
I went to see Barcelona play Real Madrid.
The beginning of the end.
And, oh my goodness, one thing I didn't know about Barcelona Stadium, even though I've been there before, is there's no roof to speak of. So when it rains, you get wet, which is the way football grounds used to be in the old days.
Has Wembley got a roof?
Oh, God, yeah, it's a beauty.
Has it?
Oh, it's got a handle as well. It's like a big basket. You could pick up Wembley and gather flowers in it.
I didn't know it had a roof.
Oh, yeah.
For the audience, for the crowd.
I don't mean over the pitch.
Not for the grass.
Oh, right, that's what I'm thinking. I see what, they don't have a roof over the...
No, so I had to make my own roof. And what I did, before Barcelona come out on the pitch, everyone gets a coloured square under their seat of paper, which they have to hold up, and you make an enormous Barcelona flag.
All right.
So I was part of the flag, holding up this. And what I did is I took this big square of red paper, and I made... Do you remember those Admiral hats you used to make at school?
Yeah.
You fold them into a point, and I put that on because it was raining. And I could see these Catalonians around me nodding each other and looking. And after a bit, people were really staring at me, and after a bit, I noticed other Admiral hats appearing, and I think I basically started a fashion in Barcelona. No one had ever seen the Admiral hat before made out of paper.
Wow.
So it must be an English thing.
I wonder what other gaps from British schooling they haven't got. Like if you'd written some numbers and words on it and done that thing.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh yeah,
has it got a name?
I don't know.
I like to call it.
It's not good radio, is it? Moving my hands and saying that thing is about the
where
worst
you open
radio.
number one.
Used to be a folded paper, and you'd open there'd be numbers.
Yeah.
I used to call it the chrysanthemum of fate. I don't know if that. So you'd say things like, "What's your favourite colour?" and you'd do BLUE.
Yes.
And when you got to the end, it would. Well, did it tell you who you were in love with, or something?
Something like that. Yeah, they could have done that at half time during El Clásico.
So what have they been doing with these bits of paper? Nothing. Just nothing.
No.
Seems
There was
madness.
there was no impromptu hat tradition.
No fan making, no little fan
Maybe
making.
there. I don't
might
know.
have done that.
I felt like Sir Walter Raleigh must have felt when he brought the potato to Europe. I really thought I'd done
Surrounded by
something
bafflement.
special for them. I'll tell you something else. There's no away fans at all,
Wow.
which
Hey.
I didn't know. When Real Madrid scored, it's utter silence in the ground.
Really?
And apparently, it's a point of honour in Spain that you don't go to away games.
Wow.
It's you do it as a sort of snub to the other team.
Is that right?
And I realise all the trouble we've had with football hooliganism over the years, you could solve the whole problem
Yeah.
with the stroke. Just don't have any away fans.
It becomes cultural to avoid them.
Oh,
That's
it
nice.
just makes life easier.
Yeah.
Same with public debates. If you just get fours, it's just more relaxed.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had a text in from Michelle. The little chrysanthemum of fate, as Frank Skinner called it, is actually called a chatterbox. My daughter makes them, says Michelle.
Well, look, they might be called chatterboxes now, Michelle, but I don't think they were when I was at school.
No, they were probably called that paper thing that's got numbers and tells you if you're in love
We
or
called
not.
it that thing that you always keep in your gas mask case when I was at school.
A gas mask case.
Yeah, well, bear in mind it was the Blitz. Yeah, but that's good though, a chatterbox. It doesn't quite make sense, does it?
No.
Also the name of Sarah Millican's tour, coincidentally.
I think a previous one, yeah.
Maybe she
Oh,
based
maybe
it
it
on
is
the
the-
little chrysanthemum of fate.
Well, it's
Maybe.
not. It's nowhere near the chrysanthemum of fate as a name.
I never
is it?
called it that.
Not as elegant.
No,
I
to be
don't
honest,
think.
that came to me about 3.5 minutes ago.
But I never called it a chatterbox either.
Oh, no, what did you call it?
I don't remember. The
No,
flap,
that's it. You
the
see, you
flap thing.
were indifferent to it.
The flap. No, I wasn't. I loved it, but we just called it the flap thing.
Yeah, well, I'm not happy with it. One thing, I had a mysterious incident when I was in Barcelona. And I was at this hotel called the W. Leave it. And well, that's what it said on my door.
Just leave it.
Now, I arrived in that terrible thing when you arrive on sur le continent and you forgot your multi-plug adapter. You know the multi-plug adapter?
I know about the multi-plug
I've never
adapter.
had one.
I don't take mine as often as I perhaps could.
No, they're a magnificent invention.
Yeah, where they sort of plug into each other.
Oh,
Oops,
there's
touched the
no
microphone.
part of it wasted. A
Yes,
multi-plug adapter.
that's true.
It's
That's
like,
true.
in many ways, like a pre-op transection. Anyway, I one of the gentlemen I was with, I said, can I? He said, oh, I've got a spare. He took two.
No way.
And I thought, did they travel separately or together? Because they will plug in. I mean, you could make... I think Lego would go out of business if people realised the full potential of the multi-plug adapter.
Yeah.
You could build... I could build... If you gave me, like, 10,000 now, I could build a fabulous Her Majesty the Queen in time for the Jubilee.
Although fatherhood is impending for you, and generally electrical items are not considered good toys. I should point out.
No, but I'll do it. I'll do it in my
It's
private
early
study. Anyway, so he gave me this multi-plug, and he said, "You can have my spare." And I said, "Thank you very much." And we were just on the way out, and I didn't want to take it to the football because in an English game that'd be taken from you in case you'd taken it to throw at one of the players as a statement about their lack of versatility. So I went to reception and I said, could I leave this multi-plug adapter with you, signor? I said.
Seems reasonable.
And he said, well, we'll send it up to your room. And I
Oh.
thought, brilliant.
Nice.
So I went to the match, etc., etc. Admiral hat, and got back, went up to my room. There's a sort of small black kit bag on my bed with something like whatever Spanish for with compliments. I thought that'll be opened it up, multi-plug adapter, but not the same one.
Oh.
So I had to go down and say, well, there's been a terrible mix-up. I gave you said you were going to send up to my room. You've sent, if anything, you've sent a simpler
one.
version. No, a lesser one.
Oh.
And he said, I don't know how that's happened. He said, do you want to come and see if you can spot yours? So we went into this room that adjoined the reception area. He got out 2 enormous crates of multi-plug adapters, every variety
Wow.
you could possibly imagine.
Did he then say at the start there was only 2 in here?
No,
The bread.
I just held one up. I thought they're a marvellous symbol, aren't they, of a united Europe? The multi-plug adapter.
Did you choose a better one?
Well, it made me realise that I thought hotels bought a load of multi-plug adapters to give to guests or to loan to guests who'd forgotten them. But of course what happens is
People
that
leave them.
their cleaners are pulling them out of sockets every day. And he had the most brilliant collection. I'd love to have seen them all joined together.
You could open a museum or something.
Oh, it would have been great. The
would be
varieties
great.
I've never heard of. Swivels, multicoloured, ones with switches on. Oh, I can't tell you. But I have told you. So, there it is.
Whether or not you should have is up for debate.
Yeah. And then I had, well, I should save this. I had one of the most remarkable tours I've ever had in my life. And, yeah, what happened, I was in Barcelona, but I actually had a tour of Antwerp.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had a text from Elkie from Lanark, Scotland, saying...
Not Elkie Brooks.
I don't know. It might
It's the
be.
only Elkie I've ever heard of.
Does she live in
Where?
Lanark, Scotland, Elkie Brooks? Sounds like she could.
Lanark, Scotland. You sure it's not Elkie? Anyway, carry on.
Broad regional stereotyping.
No, you're quite
to
right.
be avoided.
I desperately apologise to any Scottish listeners. No, their hangovers will be so bad.
Yeah, they won't be up yet.
No.
I just visualised a special exhibition consisting of various sculptures made of multi-plug adapters. A whole huge room full of them. Love your show and your accent, Frank. Oh,
That's
nice,
nice, isn't it?
I should have told you that before you offended her people.
Yes, I feel bad about it now. I realise she's on my side. I wondered if you could put some sort of electric charge through them so they lit up or something of that
Some
nature.
Christmas tree lights in there as well.
Well, just as because the multiplicity of electrical charge of that they all generated together.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I don't know what I'm talking about. What of it?
There was a point before the iPhone took over the world where I had a Nokia mobile phone, and you could almost guarantee that a hotel would have 100 of those chargers, so you didn't need to take them around.
I've still got a Nokia, and it is a problem. It is a problem.
I bet they don't have them now.
No, it's
I bet
really
they're all in
hard
a
to-
bin
Yeah.
out the back now.
Yeah, I do. It is difficult having a Nokia. I struggle.
I've never tried to get an iPhone charger in a hotel because I just assume that people take them.
Can I say this is my first ever example of Nokia charger nostalgia? It's amazing how quickly nostalgia comes around nowadays.
Especially these days, yeah.
Yeah, people say things. Oh, I used to love Pop Idol. I think, God, that was wasn't that like the week, 2 weeks ago?
But when you're on the road, it's
when
it's
you're on
nice
the
to have a
road.
little home comfort with
Yeah.
your plug adapter, isn't it? I take a PE kit with me on the road.
Do you?
Yeah, I take
Never used.
sometimes, occasionally used. I take a white vest and some black shorts, like a school PE
To go
kit.
to a
White
gym?
vest.
Not necessarily to go to the gym.
why
to,
then?
to do exercise in the room,
Oh, okay.
or to pad around in the
Have you
room.
got a Rosemary Connolly DVD in the side pouch?
I'm not joking now.
Is your name stitched in?
I have a stretchy band. I have a resistance band that
have
I
a
can
stretchy
exercise with. I've got it with me. I've got
Do you
it.
ever use it, Alan?
Yeah.
That's
I
a
do.
firm
You
Britain
put your
got one of
PE
those.
kit on.
I put my PE kit on, and sometimes I'll order room service in a hotel, and they'll bring up my dinner, and I'll just be there in black shorts and a white vest,
Oh,
and I occasionally get looks like.
Do you have a
this,
number
This
as well?
doesn't happen often.
Number
No.
on a square of
I mean,
paper.
it's not always a white vest. Sometimes it's a coloured T-shirt of some kind.
Oh, no, don't
You know,
spoil it.
It's
I don't
just
want to
curious
ruin
that
it.
you call it a PE kit.
Because that's what we wore as PE kit at school. White
Do you keep
T-shirt,
it in one of
black
those little
shorts.
drawstring bags?
No, I've got it in the old bag
do you
there.
wear the pumps with the...
Yeah, the Woolies bumps
Well,
with
the
the
front-
elastic.
the front-
This is
gossip.
why, when you say for the gym, this is what actually one of the problems, because sometimes if I go away and I just take shoes, I've got a PE kit but no trainers. So if I did want to go to the gym, I'd be there in my PE kit and desert boots, and that's not appropriate.
No,
is it?
that's not.
Could be worse. Imagine a leather sole brogue with a white PE kit.
I'm having a lot of trouble with brogues at the moment because they're in fashion, aren't they? And I bought
They're
a
on
pair,
trend,
and I don't cope well with a brogue. I look like Margaret Rutherford, and they're the only shoe I've got that's coping with this weather. So I just have to wear them.
Just wear them.
I really
am not happy in them.
They gather stuff.
Brogues. Oh, in the pimples.
In the
pimples.
indentations.
In the holes.
Yeah. I don't like that. It's like earwax. They have their own version of earwax.
I just want them to go out of fashion. I've had enough, and they keep coming back.
We've had a text saying nostalgia about the Nokia.
Excellent.
Nostalgia.
Excellent.
Good work, Ian.
What I used to do is when I went to bed at night, before I finally nodded off, I would put a matchstick in each brogue hole to keep.
No.
Yeah, just to keep them clean and fresh. And
But now there's telly and computers and all manner of things.
if you could imagine a porcupine with laces, that's what it looked like. And I think we can all imagine that. Let's take a moment to do it now.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
On the subject of trying to clean brogues, 820 has texted in, my husband was sick once whilst wearing a new pair of brogues. They were binned immediately.
No, that's
Very
not.
sensible.
That's very bad indeed.
Stick them in the washing machine.
Or the matchstick trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you have a very deft touch with a power drill, you can clean a brogue without doing any damage. I tell you
That'd
what
be
I
a pleasing task.
Yeah, I tell you what I find myself doing with a brogue is I get my nails just under the serrated edge. You know the serrated edge that you get just on the toe cap. Just raise it up a little bit.
Oh, really?
Like it a little bit raised. Yeah. It's just
Brogue chat.
one of my things. Anyway, so in Barcelona we had a driver who was from Belgium, and he drove us around Barcelona, and he drove me around for like an hour and a half, telling me about Antwerp and all the sights of Antwerp, and there is very beautiful statue with man holding a giant's hand heading towards, and then the museum is. So I actually had a tour of Antwerp as we drove around Barcelona, and I thought, there might be something in this.
Yeah.
Is it if you live in London, is there only tours of London available? Why not all the great cities?
Especially now with CGI, you could easily have like a screen in the back of the cab.
He painted fabulous word pictures.
Yeah.
We didn't need no visual aids.
You could do Rome whilst in York instead of going to the Viking Centre or something. Just have a little drive around.
Yeah.
If it's a comfy enough vehicle, why not?
It really worked for me. I found something. I felt like I was getting, a bog off.
Yeah. Buy
like a
one,
good
get
tour.
one free.
I love an open top bus.
Oh, yeah.
I love those. If you visit a city, always straight ahead for an open top bus. It's just a quick, you get that city.
No, I agree. It's a great way to. It's a great little taster.
Yeah.
I did
Bite size.
the boat on the Thames, and we went past, and he said, and for any nature fans, if you look on the right, you'll be able to see a couple of cranes. And there were cranes, JCB cranes.
Excellent.
I
very
loved that.
good.
I loved it.
Well, I think I
Very
told
good.
you.
I like a bit of patter.
I met a woman in the street who said to me, we went past your flat the other day. And I said, how did you know it was my flat? And she said, well, it's pointed out on the dock tour.
No!
Yeah, the dock tour
Yeah,
is
the boat
they're
comes
former
up, yeah.
military vehicles that they use for the D-Day landings, I think.
Oh, are they?
And they're now used on the Thames.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I'm one of the sites.
Did you like that or not?
Well, I was
Feel
a
it's an
bit
invasion of your
unsure. In
privacy,
this
or?
age where, at any moment, Al-Qaeda could rewrite all our address books in blood.
Is that what they're planning?
I did a tour of a cave once in Laos, and the bloke who
Where?
took us around, Laos. Do you say Laos or Laos?
Where is
Laos.
it?
It's sort of above Thailand.
Oh, I've never
It's a
heard
little
of it.
landlocked
Never heard of it.
country
What,
at that time.
hovering?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Between Vietnam and Thailand. And we did a cave tour, and the bloke obviously didn't speak any English, and we didn't speak any Laos. And he just was very excited about the suggestive shapes of all the stalagmites.
Oh, right.
And he was like, "This is the tour of all tours. Look at this, and it was all about the suggestive shapes of
Oh,
stalagmites."
no, I don't want that from a tour guide.
No, it was a real lowbrow tour, to be honest.
No, I like a real dry academia, that's what I like.
I want some history and some
Yeah.
culture.
Plenty of that. And preferably about somewhere where I'm not.
Yeah.
That's what I've really got into now. That's my big thing.
Frank Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We've had more texts in about shoes.
Oh, good.
I know we stumbled on the idea that you stick little matchsticks into the gaps in brogues.
Just to keep them, open.
And of this discussion, Ian Angle has texted in, you could become a brogue reporter. Like that.
I love that.
I'm liking Ian Angle.
There has been a lot of brogue chat on today's show, but if it ain't brogue, don't fix it. That's what I say. And
You've topped Ian Angle.
I can't help myself.
Is Ian Angle not allowed his little moment in the sunlight without you having to shoot him down in your
Ian.
competitive comedian way?
The little crater things in brogues used to be holes to let out water when used by peat boggers.
Is that right?
Sir Mark from Notts says.
But they seem like a fancy shoe,
They do, yeah.
not a peat bogger.
Yeah, but
suppose that's evolution,
they
isn't
have
it?
an inherent sturdiness, which
do.
makes me think they might have a history in
They've got a
the
complicated past.
in the agriculture. Yeah,
Who hasn't?
well, they've got a complicated front. That's the trouble with them. I mean, they're over complex.
They're busy shoes.
They're very
They
busy.
are. That's why you need a plain trouser with them. You couldn't wear anything too...
Well, so
bold.
I've discovered.
Oh,
I've
really?
made that blunder. I mean, I've
Oh, have you?
really got it wrong with these brogues. A good friend said, you've really got to go for a skinny jean, Kerry. You've really messed up.
Skinny jean with brogues.
Well,
Is that
yeah,
what they
'cause
wear?
I
Is
wore
that
the
what
wrong-
they're wearing nowadays.
The youth.
Can I just apologise? It's pronounced angel. Ian has texted somewhat tetchily.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, it's my fault, but if it's spelt A-N-G-E-L-L, I'm going to go Angel.
Yeah. But did Jimi Hendrix go, Angle came down from heaven yesterday, stayed with me long enough to rescue me? No, he didn't. Well, I'm sorry, Ian. Your joke still stands, even though
Absolutely.
we got your name wrong. Bear in mind that a ponster by any other name would smell of sweet.
Nice to paraphrase Shakespeare.
Thank you so much. I tell you something, if on the subject of shoe-type ephemera.
Yes.
I don't know much about Haribo.
The sweet.
The sweets.
Yeah, I'm no expert. But when we were at this football match in Barcelona, the only refreshments they had was a selection of Haribo. So I bought a couple of. There was a multicoloured teddy bear affair. I can't remember the name, but there was this very nice thing called spaghetti, and it was like red, red things, a bit tangy.
Like a sour.
Well, exactly, because I thought I might get some of them when I get back to England. By the way, if you work for Haribo, don't send me any or I'll throw them on the fire. Not because I don't like them, because I don't like people who beg for stuff on the radio. I won't beg. I will not beg.
There'll be brogues makers putting them back on the shelf now across the country.
Yeah, stick your brogues. That's what I say. And the brogue holes. So, I saw some in a shop in London, and they're not
Spaghetti.
called spaghetti. They seem to be called sour laces.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, is that people going to buy those? Ooh,
Doesn't
sour
sound-
laces.
Yum, yum.
Just what you want. But is it the same thing? They looked exactly the same to me. So if there's any Haribo fans listening, I'd love to know if
like
they are
a sour.
if they are the same thing. My manager, who I was with in Spain, tried to tell me that Haribo had the monopoly on all the gum supplies in the world. I disputed this because it sounded too far-fetched. You know, nowadays when you have a dispute, you go straight to your smartphone.
Yeah.
And it was a total lie.
Well, you just made it up.
Yeah, as if Haribo could corner every gum tree on the planet. Okay,
He
they're
was
big,
just-
but they're not that big. I don't know what he was doing. He was showing off on Haribo's behalf.
You've got to be careful with showing off now with smartphones.
Yeah, you have. We had another long debate about the year Kylie Minogue's first album was released.
And then Googled it, bosh.
Yeah,
Facts
and
right in front of you.
might I say 1988? I was spot on. Quite pleased.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We had an email in during the week, Frank, from someone asking if you remember the Orange Chip Shop in Bearwood
Oh, do I?
from the days when he was Comedy Night Compare at the Bear.
Yes. I used to do a club every night in a place called Bearwood, which is near Birmingham.
Every
Bearwood,
night?
Oh, sorry, every Wednesday night.
Oh.
Bearwood for shoes, we always used to say.
Bearwood for shoes.
Yeah, that's where you went to buy shoes. There's a lot of shoe shops.
Oh, right.
There was also
I thought it was some kind of weird pun for, like, Bearwood for shoes.
There was also the Orange Chip Shop, which wasn't a hardcore Protestant snack bar.
Or a phone outlet.
Yeah, they did. I don't know what they did. No, they didn't have mobile phones then.
No.
I think, is it carotene that they put in? I don't know quite what they put in the fat at the chip shop, but the chips were bright orange.
Cumin? Well, no, not cumin. What do I mean? The other one.
Well, not now. We've got another hour show.
Paprika?
Turmeric.
No, it wouldn't have been anything that fancy. Not in Bearwood. No, it would have been diesel. No, but so what was brilliant in those days is that because I was sort of world famous in Bearwood only, is that you could talk about the fruit shop across the road that stayed open really late and stuff like that. You know, you lose that when you start doing telly and stuff. You have to go national.
Right.
There was something marvellous about the fabulously localness of it. Oh, but it was all so simple then. Time has rewritten every line. Everybody. Yes, all of you at home.
See it in Liverpool.
If I had the chance to sing it, if I had the chance to do it all again, tell me, would we? Just you. Beautiful. Yeah. I had some food problems in Spain. Have you ever had a meal and something comes up and you start eating it and you think, I have an idea in my head there's something morally wrong with this food, I can't remember what it is?
I've been a guest at someone's table and they brought out whale.
Oh, yeah.
In Iceland, and I was a guest of Icelandics, and they went, "This is a delicacy here," and so I ate it. But yeah, I did a bit of soul searching on the way back.
Did it look like? It doesn't look like whale.
No, it was like a tiny little white
black
cube. It was
white.
Yeah,
I had whale. It was black as midnight on a moonless night.
Sounds like yours was off.
Yeah, maybe.
Bit of off whale.
Maybe that's what. Maybe you had the whole.
Or maybe I got blubber.
I think the hole, it's white around the hole, isn't it? I imagine. That'd be you wouldn't want the bit with the hole, because that's too whale-like.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't want to...
Oh, no. The whale, come to think of it, has got like a very primitive brogue design to it. Just the one hole. No, well, I feel bad about this, but I'm gonna fess up, as I believe the kids say.
Please do, fess up.
Is that they brought veal.
Oh.
Now, I'm not absolutely sure, and I don't really want to talk about it on air, but what veal is, but there's somewhat cruel.
Yeah.
I think in Spain they actually say Cruella de Veal. And I started eating it, and it tasted nice, but I had a nagging thing that I shouldn't have...
It's like fargoise like that, isn't it? I've never had it, but it's pretty appalling how it's achieved.
Yeah. But the thing that struck me is veal is a sort of standard, don't eat veal because it's bad, it's bad vibes. But they then brought lamb, and I think this might be because I'm expecting a child. I had an image of this lamb being taken from its mother, and the mother looking like with tear-filled eyes.
Yeah, you did need that.
As a van disappeared up an agricultural track with the sound of high-pitched bleating.
Yeah.
And I couldn't enjoy that either.
That's definitely going to spoil a meal, that sort of imagery. Isn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think
I love lamb, and I think you may have put me off it.
But
I've always struggled with it. I've always struggled with lamb.
Have you?
Really?
Just as that, yeah.
Though.
It is.
It is really
with
delicious.
With mint sauce, it is great.
It is, but, dinner plate is such a contrast to frolicking. You can't really get a bigger change in your everyday activities than that. No, but that shouldn't... People don't worry about lamb, do they? We're about to go to the news soon. Have we actually got a newsreader, Daisy? We don't have a news... At the moment, we don't have a newsreader, which is a slight worry. But, it could be all down to me. I'm just going to have a look on Google News, and I'll be with you soon.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
It's 9:03, a little bit late this morning, and here's the news. Lord Leveson has said it will be impractical to change the running order of the Leveson inquiry for the sake of the Culture Secretary, Jeremy Hunt. So, well, there you go. Good luck, Mr. Hunt. But, you're not going to get an early booking, you know what I'm saying? And also, I'm going to Brentford this afternoon to see my mate Phil Kerr, who lives over there. We're going to go over now for the sport first of all, as almost a full Premier League programme today. It's a bit of battle going on at the foot of the table. West Brom are playing Aston Villa. I wonder what Ian Wright thinks about that. Well, I think that it could be a win for West Brom because could be a win for Villa or possibly a draw. Righty there. And Alan Cochrane here with the weather.
Yeah, where weather is different in different places, so wherever you are, look out the window and wear one extra layer from what it is now. So if it's rainy, wear an extra layer for really heavy rain, and if it's not rainy but cloudy, wear just rain. See what I mean?
I'll do the next bit.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I once gave up eating lamb for 5 years, purely from watching the opening credits of Emmerdale whilst eating a lamb chop.
Well,
it didn't last, though, she says.
No, but 5 years is pretty good. That spared a few lambs.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say. I have to say at this point, by the way, that this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Alan Cochrane and Kerry Godliman. I just have to say that. That's how it goes. Now, guess what?
Is it a contractual obligation?
There's been an avian intrusion. Avian intrusion.
That's the avian intrusion jingle.
Yeah, as done live by Bing Crosby. Now, Kerry, what happened?
Pigeon flew in through the back door into the house.
This sounds like a telegram.
Pigeon flew in. Yeah,
What did
pigeon flew in.
Which window?
The back door, like a big slidey French door situation.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of room for it to get through, and just flew in. And flapped around in the lounge.
Yeah, that's the scary thing. Yeah.
Chaos, hysteria,
Is it
mania.
Is a house with many, many China ornaments?
Yeah, my Royal Dalton collection.
Oh, well, I mean, they can...
No, a lot of children that went mad. And what I was most disappointed in is how sort of silly I was. I sort of squealed and screamed, and I got a man to deal with it.
Do you feel like you let yourself
I really
down?
let myself go.
Yeah.
I just was like, I can't cope.
No. See, what
I'm a lady.
You should have gone... and calmed it.
Oh, it was in a real state. It did need calming.
If you had a trim phone...
What's that?
You know, remember those trim phones you used to get in the 70s that used to go...
That would have calmed it.
They would
Definitely.
have mated, almost certainly.
That's a strange hybrid creature could have
Yeah, exactly.
It is weird though,
it's horrible.
because they're flapping, and so
Yeah.
I can totally understand
And it's
you
very
suddenly flapping as
yeah,
well.
and it's very
It's
unnerving.
infectious, the
You've
flapping.
incorporated both meanings of the word flapping.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And they're also a bit verminy, aren't they, a pigeon? So
Yeah,
there's
they
a
are.
sort of dirt issue that you don't want in your
Well,
house.
yeah. And also, when they're very distressed, I imagine it pours
release.
out of them. Oh, it's like one of those squirty French mustard things you get on the burgers.
Funnily enough, I was once in a cafe that got a pigeon in the cafe, and it was exactly that. People were really upset by the juxtaposition of food and flying vermin.
Yeah, that's
You can see where
And I'd
Hitchcock...
ordered Caesar salad and eaten mess, so it wasn't looking good.
Oh, no,
I was
that's a
worried.
disaster.
God.
You can see where Hitchcock got the idea from, because it is
Oh, that's a
awful.
scary film.
It's not good. It's
What, you
unsettling.
think he had a pigeon in his
A pigeon
house?
flew into Hitch's house.
Oh, well,
And
yeah.
that's the beginning of that.
I think it flew in and he went, "Good evening." On tonight's show.
No, he went... in a very Hitchcockian fashion.
Indeed.
They fly into my local swimming pool because it's big. It's a big swimming pool, big Olympic-sized swimming
Is
pool.
it?
It's a massive old 60s building, and there's often a pigeon just flying around.
Really?
Yeah, and some schools, I used to work in schools, and schools have pigeon issues.
You'd think seagulls, wouldn't you, really, for a
It's
big
not that
swimming
big a
pool?
pool.
There's a bird that currently, I don't know if I'd say trapped or just living in the underground car park under our flats.
Oh, really?
Been there for a while now. I find that as it takes in more and more lead, its flight path is getting a little lower.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I think it's doing the Einstein thing of it's getting a bit mad.
Yeah, I think there must be a lot of lead in the underground car park. I mean,
Yeah.
I give it 6 weeks, you could use it as a small anchor. But that's a bit... you know, it's a sign of imminent death. Are you aware of that?
Oh, I didn't know. That's
Oh,
good
yeah.
news.
Yeah, it used to be a bit. When one got in our house, it used to be in the house I live in, the flat I live in now. We had a raven.
Oh, that's
in the bedroom,
different.
and I thought, now this is you're over omening the pudding here.
Yeah. That's
okay, you're already an omen. You don't have to be a raven in my house.
Was he holding a scythe?
And I was just about to go across Europe with Lee Mack. It was the last thing I wanted. Was a portent of doom.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
How's about that then? I haven't quite got that impression to the point where I want it yet.
Well,
How's about that? No,
by the time you get it there,
I know, but no, he'll never die as far as showbiz. It's an immortal.
Mainstream entertainment is
He
concerned.
couldn't be confused with anyone else. That's the main thing.
No. better, getting better.
I thought that was a bit Kenneth Williams to be
Yeah,
honest.
well, that's
You say he couldn't be confused with anyone else.
I'm touring basically.
Frankie Howard, it's borderline.
So, one of the big stories of the week is the historian Lucy
Worsley?
Yes.
Something like that. Yeah.
who said that she was too intelligent to have children.
Did she say that?
I think she did say that, didn't she?
Has it been paraphrased?
Well, I looked at some direct quotes, and she said that she felt that she was so educated now that she was her own person, she had interest in
She'd
things.
been educated out of the natural reproductive function.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And-
it's,
What's your feeling? Have you got something to say about her?
Well, I know what she means.
Yeah.
I mean, it can have that effect on some... I mean, some people do seem to have children and then become very stupid.
Yeah.
I think that's happened to me.
Has it?
Really
I'm
baby
sure I was
brain.
cleverer before.
Yeah, well...
I'm sure of it.
Yeah?
I've really let things slide.
Well, how does it happen?
You just don't read as much. You're not. You're
reading
you're dull.
Spot instead of
you're in-
Spinoza.
That's it. And you're watching Sea Babies, and it's just it all slips away.
Yeah, well, I have a child imminent.
Mm-hmm.
Not immigrant, imminent. I haven't gone the Angelina Jolie route. I have a child imminent, and I wonder if it's going to make me stupid.
It probably
I should
will. It
imagine.
Well, I
often
hope
does.
so. I mean, I'll have much more choice of television programmes. Yeah. At the moment, I'm struggling to find anything at all on ITV1, whereas post-children, it'll seem like a cornucopia of...
Kids do stop
Entertainment.
existential despair. They really put a stop to all that.
Well, I'm awful. I don't do that kind of... I'm a jolly...
navel-gazing.
I'm a jolly character.
Yeah, they do. They stop most things, really.
Do they? See,
Ambition.
Oh, no. It has...
They're nice, though. You have a good time.
Are you with Cyril Connolly, who said there is no more sombre enemy of good art than the pram in the hallway?
I've got 2 prams in my hallway at one point, and then I was very anxious about that.
But you're still working in your actoring and your comedian.
I mean, I'd be global by now if it wasn't for kids.
Well, okay.
Global.
But that can be a bad thing. And I mean, look what happened to Enron.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes, there's a
Those great
lesson for us
artists.
all.
Something to be said for keeping it local. See, if they'd had children, they'd
Yeah.
still be operational.
If you'd had your kids sooner, you'd still be doing those chip and vegetable references of that local gig.
You would,
You would.
but maybe I'd have been happier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it's-
I
Well,
don't,
this is the
I
thing,
don't know
isn't
if I
it?
could be any happier than I already am. I know you hate to hear that at home, but I'm generally ecstatic. I am. I jump up and down in the house on my own.
Really?
Sometimes.
all that'll
yeah.
stop when
Wow.
the baby comes. All of it.
Well, I'll be jumping up and down for different reasons.
Yeah.
It'll be a
It'll be
breakdown.
amusement. No, it'll probably be to entertain.
But what worries me is I have made a conscious... I mean, I'm talking about it now, but I've barely mentioned it on the show, considering amount of time now I'm spending going to classes and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I did my first shop this week, because all we had for the baby thus far was a car seat and a woolly hat.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't know, maybe
need more.
maybe 6 weeks, but then we're going to have to...
You need more. You need more gear.
Yeah,
definitely
at
need
least
more.
something to keep the stuff off the car seat.
At the very least.
Yeah, you can't just sit on the hat.
Get a few J-cloths or something.
Yeah,
You'll
exactly.
need some Febreze. I'd stock up on that.
Yeah, I'm thinking, some Dettol and a series of J-cloths. Maybe she could have a toilet roll holder fitted in the back seat of the car.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
Don't think they do it themselves, though, at that stage.
No, but, you know.
Some tuition involved.
I can get people if I need to.
Get staff in, yeah.
So I went to Peter Jones, it's called, but it's John Lewis, really. I went there this week to do my baby shop.
Right.
And I got a person from the shop walk round with me. Do you know that? You know that
Yeah.
system?
Shopper.
Oh, free.
Yeah.
It was for notes.
No, they came round, and I wanted to go to that well-known Iraqi baby shop, the mother of all cares.
I don't know that one.
No, it was. I quite fancied that one, but I went there instead.
What did you get then?
Well, I tell you, it was a game of two halves for me, the baby shop, because the first half we got things like sterilising units, alarms, changing pads.
That's not the fun stuff.
And I thought to myself, as we wandered round, my girlfriend on one arm, the buyer at the other, I've made the most terrible mistake of my life. My life is over. Is this going to be these terrible...
Yes.
Well, I've been condemned to having to have bad furniture in my house. And I just thought, you know, we've made a terrible error.
We got given a lot of stuff, you see. When we announced our pregnancy to family, my brother-in-law said, great, we can empty the loft.
Yeah. Well, that would be great, but no one's done that to me because they think I'd be too proud. I wouldn't if anyone's listening.
Well, you can have our gear.
No, but the thing was, having got so depressed buying sterilisers and stuff, when I got to the clothes rack,
Yeah.
I loved it.
That's great.
That's the fun stuff.
Man, I picked up this, I'm calling it a romper suit.
Yeah.
You may call it a baby grow, an all-in-one, if you like. But I said, I gotta have this. Gotta have it. And we got it home, and it's in the bag. And when Kat's not in the room, sometimes I just get it out of the bag and have a look.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
I've
really
started
sweet.
cradling the empty romper suit.
Nice.
It won't be like that, you know that.
No, I
don't
know
you?
it'll be noisier.
And messier.
Yeah, so I know what she means, though. I think it can lead to stupidity, but I'm trying to guard against it. I'd love to know what our listeners feel if they've got their brains to text.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We're talking about the lady who says that she's too clever for parenthood, effectively. Is it Lucy Worsley? That's what we said.
Oh, I like her a lot, actually.
I like her, and actually, one of the problems that happens in the media, I think, is that clever people say a thing, and then thick people react to it. This is exactly what's happened.
That's all culture.
I think a conversation like this started Nazi Germany. Imagine we're in a beer cellar in Munich.
No, but she's made quite a bright, articulate point, and I think it's fine. But
Yeah.
people are allowed to choose to not have children. And, I can totally understand that she wants the spontaneous city breaks instead of a house covered in Lego and rubbish.
I
and
admire her.
a car
Multi-plug
with-
adapter
little-
sculptures.
Yeah, exactly. But then thick people hear it and think that she's attacking their way of life, which she wasn't, I don't think. But
I think
Yeah.
she was a bit.
I don't know if she was. I don't think she was saying children are bad inherently. I think she was
What we
saying
have to
I've chosen
learn
not to
is
have them.
how to mobilise these thick people and turn them into an army. Then we can take over the world.
Isn't that how Nazi Germany
Oh yeah,
started?
sorry, that's how Nazi Germany started. I knew we were in the ballpark of how Nazi Germany started.
Anyway, we've had various texts about it, and apparently when they get to 6, your brain goes back to normal. Before then, you're in constant panic mode.
Oh God, I'm looking forward to that.
Kids make
You're
brain
in
go...
panic mode for 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a setting on your phone or anything.
I like this email from Niall. He says, while visiting Northampton to see his lady, he saw a shop titled Pre-Loved Baby Shop. And he chuckled and thought that was a bit creepy.
Pre-love.
Yeah, you couldn't pick
Meaning
up.
the clothes, not the babies,
Yeah,
presumably.
the pre-loved baby.
Yeah,
He said either way, it's not an adoption agency for Madonna types.
No.
yeah, so clothing.
I still don't quite get pre-loved.
Like
It's a new
second-hand baby
phrase.
Oh,
clothes.
second-hand.
It's like the euphemism vintage for second-hand.
In it,
Yeah.
pre-loved.
No, I can see that.
Pre-loved.
What else?
But she's never going to run the risk of having the modern mum's dilemma, which our producer today, Daisy, has got the classic modern mum's dilemma of going away without children, a night away. Do you go hangover in the morning or massive sleep in the morning? That's the modern mum's dilemma. There'll be mums nodding at the radio around the country.
What, you mean the hangover affects the sleep?
Yeah, do you go, all right, I've got a night out, no children, yay,
Yes.
party, and then you have a hangover in the morning, or do you go, woo, I've got to lie in, early night,
Yeah.
woo?
I
you sleep
think
through the
you'll
night?
find in Broken Britain you can have both of these options.
Well, that's what I suggested, but, you know,
I just sleep through the hangover.
I don't know.
No?
Oh, it's
not
a
as
shame
good
to
a sleep
miss a
as-
hangover. I always think.
It's such a delight.
When I used to drink, I used to set an alarm. If I knew I'd got a real humdinger on the way. I couldn't sleep with a hangover. I used to be so ill, I used to wake up.
No, it depends on the gradient of hangover, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back to bed, but which you can't with kids. That's the worst thing ever is a hangover with kids.
I think they're a really bad combination.
Awful.
And in fairness, you've had, 25 years of no hangovers? You've had some good sleeps, haven't you? So,
Yeah, I think I've probably got enough sleep in me to last me a lifetime.
yeah.
That's how it works.
I could do 6 years on 5 minutes a night. Good.
If this was a rom-com, we'd screen swipe to you doing a night feed.
Oh, Kerry, if this was a rom-com. I wish it were. Speaking of sleeps and stuff like that, I was telling you last week that I've been reading the... well, you weren't here, Kerry, but I'll tell you now. I've been listening to Dracula
Oh, yeah.
on audio book.
Ah.
And I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I'm chapter 10 now. It's
Right.
doing well. But apart from I had what I would call ear problems, which was the earplugs on my they're iPod earplugs.
Headphones.
Headphones.
Earphones.
Sorry, I don't know what do they call them, the kids?
Earphones.
Earphones, yeah.
Earplugs are a whole
Earplugs.
different...
Oh, sorry.
for
The
sleeping.
earphones. Those things.
Yeah.
They were really hurting my ears.
Oh,
really?
I know
I mean,
that.
really hurting. And
You
they
want-
also, they didn't really stay in.
No.
And they'd hurt them and then they'd fall out. I was having a big problem with this. Mm-hmm. And I asked, when we was in Barcelona, I asked, oh, that was a good one. I asked a friend I was with, I said, I'm having real problems with my ears. He said, you haven't got the black foam covers on.
Oh, no.
And I made such a fool of myself.
I think you can still have problems, because
I
I've had to
know,
buy
but
special hook-on ones.
I hadn't even thought about it.
Different people have different ears. Some people can jog with those in and they stay in. That would never work out for
Yeah,
me.
but I should have at least spotted the black foam covers. I've made a
Yeah,
fool
rookie-
of myself.
rookie mistake,
I had to tell him it was a Catholic thing. I don't know
Your
if he,
default answer.
yeah, I don't know if he completely believed me. But anyway, what I was getting to, I was absolutely loving this Dracula. It was like the best thing ever, right? And it's read by Americans, Kerry.
Ah.
Yeah, and a lot of young women who are into the vampire thing.
Oh, it's massive, isn't it?
And you can tell when it gets to the chapter, they'll go something like, Chapter 5, Dracula by Bram Stoker. You thought, oh God, here we go. But anyway, I wonder what's going on in the privacy of their apartments. They sound in a state of frenzy. But there's a bit in Dracula which is set in Whitby.
Oh, yeah.
Are you
Oh,
familiar
yeah,
with
yes.
Whitby?
Yes,
In what would that be, North Yorkshire?
I believe it is. I've been there many times. Yeah.
Yes.
You got a Whitby Lucky Duck?
What is
Sorry,
that?
a Whitby Lucky Duck is a charm from Whitby.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, little glass
Just about
duck.
to adjust my chair.
So this American reader suddenly springs into a local Whitby character
Oh,
speaks.
no.
Oh,
No. I mean, I don't know if he'd had a rehearsal. But bear in mind, I'm engrossed in what can only be described as a Gothic masterpiece at this point. Absolutely, on the edge of my seat. And then this happened.
We old folks that be daffled, with one foot abaft the crock hole, don't altogether like to think of it, and we don't want to feel scared of it, and that's why I took to making light of it, so that I'd cheer up my own heart a bit.
whoa.
Yeah.
Is that meant to be Whitby?
That's Whitby. I think once you start going with an accent like that, it's out of control. It's like a runaway horse, that accent.
That's Dick Van Dyke off the hook, isn't it?
Well,
really?
yeah.
do you want a little bit more?
Yeah.
He's taken him and he's raised him.
A little bit more. This is local, colourful character in
Yeah.
Whitby.
Them feet folks from York and Leeds that be always eating curd herrings and drinking tea and looking out to buy cheap jet with 3 I wonder myself who'll be bothered telling lies to them, even the newspapers, which is full of fool talk.
Yes.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So by this time, I'm thinking, has this been a terrible mistake? I'm longing for Dracula. But
That's hard to do, that. I mean, if you tried to copy that.
Yeah,
it's like Les
yeah.
Dawson, and, you know,
There's
you have to be able to play the piano to play it badly.
There's a little hint of the Caribbean in there, I think.
There is.
There's all sorts
As
in
I'm
there.
sure he would put it, but a Welsh.
I think he's put a bit of everything in.
Yeah.
He's
What I
thought,
like
I don't
it,
know
yeah.
Whitby, I'll do every accent I can do in one sentence.
It's as if he's got all the accents and he's accidentally hit fast forward. and shot through them like a man. But it
Bit of
did.
Stephen Hawking's in there as well. It's
Yes.
a little bit. I mean,
Well,
it's-
he does one of the chapters. It's a slow one, I'll be honest with you. And, but, you know, he does his best. God bless him. Yeah, so that slightly spoiled it for me.
It can. A bad accent really can mess things up.
But how did we get onto this?
I can't remember.
I think it must have been
Sleeps.
accents. Yes, of course. Oh, what's happened to this show? It used to be good.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We had an email during the week entitled "A Visit with Baked Goods?" ?
Oh, that sounds like
It sounds already
like
a
an
bit...
American art house movie.
I'm not sure.
it?
Hello, Frank. Like many of your esteemed listeners, I love your show and wondered if it was possible for me to pop in to see you on air. I can add weight to my question by bribing you all with various baked goods you require and become your resident poisoner for the day. And then there's that smiley thing that people do using punctuation. I look forward to
Oh,
hearing
there's a
from
smiley face thing.
you. Yeah. So maybe it's not real poison.
I'm afraid I've just heard the sound of a heavy portcullis go down in the back of my brain.
Yep.
So they want to come in. Carry on, sorry.
That's it, really.
Okay, they want to come in with baked goods and just
Yeah.
hang around the studio.
Yeah.
That's absolutely out of the question. I can't believe anyone ever thought that was on.
There's a saying in show business: never eat fan food.
No, I've heard that. I must admit I broke that in every possible way. Also, we can't. Sarah, who is poisoning us every week. You might not know about this,
No.
Kerry, but yeah, there's something in the tea that's not right. And I think it's quite a measured dosage. You can't just have someone in throwing it about willy-nilly. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
it's graded so that steadily over the weeks we go blind, our hair falls out. And-
It's like
Oh, it's not-
antibiotics. We have to finish the course.
yeah.
It's like boiling a frog.
Yes, very like, particularly the African clawed toad, who will not be rushed in the boiling department, in my experience.
This is
Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
We've had a text in. I should say it's Kerry's first week on the show, and we've had a text that you may want to prick up your ears here, Kerry. I wonder if I could borrow your charming lady assistant from your programme and her fabulous voice for platform announcement at South Kensington as our DVA unit is broken. Many thanks,
no.
Richard.
Excellent. I'm available.
Gap in the market there.
Oh, the DVA's gone down.
Oh no.
Get Kerry.
Yeah.
Turn it off and back on again. That's my advice for the DVA unit.
I like that my charming lady assistant.
I love
it's
that.
like, it's like being Paul Daniels.
Oh, I feel like Debbie McGee.
I've always wondered what it would be like to be like Paul Daniels.
Have you?
And now I know.
We saw Paul Daniels together.
No.
But on the subject of other jobs, Victoria Beckham's been in the news this week.
Victoria Beckham.
Do you want to have a little moment where you just...
Well, you know, I think it's very easy, isn't it, to mock Victoria Beckham. But I think now that Cheryl Cole's out the way, celebrity-wise, we can see her... Because I always felt Cheryl Cole was sort of a stunt double for the posh spice not being around in this country.
Right.
She left her here as a sort of deputy, you know, while she was in Spain and Los Angeles. But I'm starting to think there's potential for Posh Spice to move into that most desperate of areas, the National Treasure.
Really?
Yeah. I think people aren't as anti-Posh Spice as they used to be.
People think she's hilarious now, don't they? Apparently she's a comedy giant.
I think people have warmed to her. She designed her own Land Rover this week. Did you see that?
Is that the Evoque or something? I think I've seen them in the street. I
It
don't know.
didn't look like she'd had a big hand in it. That's a great job. How does she get those jobs? Like when you don't do anything and people give you a load of money and then it's your thing. Like, you know, maybe the fashion she did a bit, but she didn't do anything with the... She wasn't sitting at a drawing board with blueprints out.
But she always makes out she's roughing it. She says, "Oh, I change a nappy in a meeting, just like a normal mum." Like, well, a normal mum doesn't change a nappy in a meeting.
Well, you see, when you hear that, you think that. I think, what a meeting about what?
Yeah.
Don't pretend you even have a meeting about it. But this is a woman we should respect to her who made 8 million quid from being a singer.
Yeah.
She made 8 million quid from being a singer. That's like me making 8 million quid for being an antelope. It's an incredible thing that she did it, because she has a weak and wispy voice. I mean, God bless her.
But the Spice Girls weren't about singing, were they?
No, but that was
They're
what
about female empowerment,
They were
weren't they?
professional
Right.
singers. Well, that is girl power, to make 8 million quid
She's
for doing
taken-
something you can't do.
Yeah, it's proper
Yeah.
power.
Why not?
No, God bless her.
She's thinking about branching out into other areas of employment, isn't she?
Yeah, she's been pictured as an air hostess. Sitting next to an actual air hostess who's making a funny face, like, "Oh, it's Victoria Beckham."
Yeah, larking
She's-
around.
She's there with her sunglasses. She does look a bit like a sort of a puppet in the picture. Like
Harsh?
sort of Team... No, I don't mean harsh, just Team America style.
Having
She's
said
got
that,
quite big
I have
sunglasses on.
fancied quite a lot of puppets over the years. You know, Marina from Stingray. Atlanta Shore wasn't bad. I found her a bit matronly.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly Lady Penelope. All of the angels in Captain Scarlet, or the angles as you'd probably call them.
Jessica Rabbit. I know it's a cartoon, not a puppet, but same thing.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about her.
All right.
I don't like the...
Not your type.
I don't think I'd be one...
Prefer the stringy type.
I'm not into crossbreeding. I don't mind the odd string, but I don't like... No, I'm not into that at all.
But I've said it before, if any celebrity is going to be an air host or hostess, it should be yourself. You've got the perfect physique for it.
You have said that. I've always been a bit worried about it.
Live.
Well, exactly what you mean by...
Well, it's because I was on a plane with a man who was an air host, who had the broadest back I've ever seen, and he couldn't turn in the alleyway.
No,
aisle.
I could get past the
that's
trolley.
right.
You could get past the
I could
trolley.
get past the trolley without having to turn sideways. That's how snaky hipped I am.
Well, that's like you and Posh could be good at that.
Yeah.
We could take a side each of the trolley. We could pass.
She could do duty frees and you'll do refreshments.
Oh, we could pass like skeletons in the night. If they pass, I don't know, you'd hear it, wouldn't you?
There's a picture of her pouring out milk in Starbucks.
Oh, it's all a
Getting
bit
people-
Marie Antoinette's dairy at the back of the Palace of Versailles, isn't it? When she had
Is
things
it?
like this fabulous...
Yeah, that's what I thought when I
Yeah,
looked.
she had this porcelain bucket and stuff like that, and she played at being a dairy maid.
She does look
Oh,
like
that
she's
shit.
playing at it, doesn't she?
Oh, but you know, like I say, I'm going to the new campaign. Not so much the backlash, the forward lash starts here. That we start liking
Yeah.
Posh Spice from this stage. Anyway, I can't sit here talking all day. Andy Bush is coming up. What about that? Andy W. Bush, as I like to call him. Now, you can download the Not the Weekend podcast from Wednesday, as usual. And you know what? If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Kerry won't be, but thank you so much. Kerry will be on the
pleasure.
Not the Weekend podcast, so stick around for her. And she'll also be performing at South Kensington Railway Station. Excellent.
Stand clear of the doors.
Goodbye.
This is
Frank Skinner,